I'd like to know a little bit about uh, how life has changed in the United States over over the course of your life, right? You and I know we're about the same age, right? And so I'd like, as you've always remained in the same country, I'd like to know, and your country, it seems to evolve really quickly. Things that happen in your country evolve really quickly. So I'd like to know how times have changed, if it's for the better, if it's for the worse, you know. So t tell me a little bit about your perception of growing up, first of all, and then we'll take it from there.
Sure,
In a general term, not a personal term, but generally, what was happening around you and what you perceived.
sure. Well, Steve, as I mentioned to you, I've always lived in the U.S., although I have lived in different states. And for work, I did a lot of consulting and like operations and supply chain. So have also traveled to many different states in the U.S., as well as some other parts of the world, but those were always for business trips. I mean, to your question, from when I was a kid to now, I mean, I know it's a cliche, but I feel like even the U.S. has lost a lot of innocence. We've stood for a lot of things, and over time, not done some great things. And, you know, those things have come out slowly over time. And I think people have a very different view today. Um, and that view, I think, is accelerated. The change has accelerated a lot in the last 8 years. So um, I would say that today we're navigating some huge political shifts. There's a lot of uncertainty. You know, when I was growing up, I don't remember those things quite the same. Now, obviously, you know, very early, you know, there was the Bay of Pigs. There was a variety of things that happened, but we had a lot of stability in the world. And, we're not at that point right now. There's a lot of turbulence right now.
Well, you said that you had a lot of stability when you were younger. I mean, of course, you were looking at the world through a younger person's eyes, of course, you know. But looking back, how why would you say that was that it was more stable?
I think part of it was you got to go back in time and realize that, and it's there's some ways it was similar to the UK where, you know, you have the BBC. We only had a couple of channels when I grew up, right? So the media, there was really only a few sources.
Cameras on the
And for,
TV, you say?
on the TV, right?
Yeah, sure,
And
sure.
for the most part, uh, the press sort of self censored themselves, and I think there was a lot of things that were not shared. So I think there was a pretty rosy picture for people. Now that didn't mean, you know, if you're study the history of the U.S., we've had, you know, college riots, we've had, you know, the Vietnam protests. So there's been plenty of history of that, but generally speaking, from my perspective, it's gotten more turbulent, and part of it's just as people have learned more, and generally with that proliferation of things like podcasts, different information's got out, and you know, where we were more monolithic and more homogenized, it's more diverse and it's more polarized today.